Which I'll share.
Yeah.
Please give request to share. Permission to share.
Yeah, ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕೃಷ್ಣದು more that we'll know when we see.
Vishnu Maya comes as campaigns.
Vishnu Maya we were in. Did we finish it?
Last week class itta?
No.
Then we go to Vishnu Maya only and see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or maybe comes as campaign. Yeah.
I think we might have finished. ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗು ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ.
Very last week.
Correct. This is what we saw. He was humble and taking leave of them, went back to his palace with a light heart. Okay. Should we go over these again once, or we'll just we'll continue from here, I think, and then we'll. सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ततो जयमुदीरयेत् Okay. We'll start from here. Ignorant people think ignorantly and consider that someone has killed and someone has been killed, but you know that it is not so. And so, armed as you are with real wisdom, please be gracious enough to forgive this sinner, Kamsa. Kamsa. Somehow now, when he knows that Krishna has actually gone to that Yogamaya, she says, right, he is born and he is going to kill you. She says, and she flies away. That moment, I think it's a very surreal moment for Kamsa. That moment, it's like that momentary peace, in touch with his being completely. Everything is removed, all the fear removed, everything, that fear which was gripped. That moment, it leaves him, and so he feels all this wonderful wisdom is coming into him, right? And he's saying someone has killed, someone has been killed, but you know that is not so. Please be gracious enough to forgive this sinner. I have killed so many of your babies. Please be gracious enough. With tears flowing from his eyes, he fell at the feet of the two erstwhile captives and clasped them in his hands. What this shows is that divine grace is within each one. It only gets covered by the clouds of emotions and fear and all of that. When it is not there, the real nature, the true nature gets revealed. You would think someone like Kamsa does not have this at all. No, that is not true. How could somebody kill babies? How could he say? He must be so hard-hearted. This is a glimpse of showing us that even in that heart, he was there. That the being, that love, it's only the layers of covering which hide that truth. When that layer is removed, a momentary wisdom dawns.
That's what that shloka comes, no? Samoham sarva bhuteshu. So Bhagavan is alone is actually he alone is, and because of these coverings, avarana, right? That is what Vedanta calls as avarana, all that covers. So I'm remembering two things. One is, I don't know if Vidyaranya or somebody, I don't know. They say when someone says, God, it's not true, God doesn't exist, he may have so many points to say that there is nothing like God which exists. Right? So I think Vidyaranya only Swami quotes says, it is like talking for 1 hour, telling that this tongue does not exist. Yeah. For someone to talk, the truth, the presence is what is, it is, that is the substratum, that is the real being. Yeah, the real being and the real will, the real power, the only reality. So, in the same context, Swami Vivekananda also, someone had questioned him, asking, do you see God? Because Swami Vivekananda asks Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, right? Have you seen God? So at that time, based on Narendra Nath's, however he was, so Ramakrishna Paramahamsa replies saying, yes, I see God. I see God more real than I see you. Yeah, that was his, um, and what do you say? The conviction of truth passed on from Guru to Sishya. So similarly, when someone asks Swami Vivekananda, that answer is fantastic. That goes with this context. So, truth alone is, yeah, everything springs from him, everything is in him, everything goes back to him. Even now, it is him and him alone, right? That is what is the Chaturshloki Bhagavata. The Bhagavata, this is what is. So, someone asks, Swami Vivekananda says, can you show God? Do you see God? So, Vivekananda says, I see God and God alone. If I have to see you, I see you through God. Hmm. So, how beautiful it is, you know? So, even the mind that arises is arising in Him alone. Yeah. So, it is just that even in Ullad Narpada, that is what Ramana Bhagavan says, you know, there is no difference between the one who is realized and the one who is not realized. So it comes like a big statement. Oh my God, what is this? What he says is there's no difference because it is truth alone which is there. Yeah, it is just that the one who has not realized doesn't know the truth. Yeah, he doesn't know it yet, but the one who has realized knows it. Otherwise, there is no difference. It is the truth and truth alone which is Sat Chit Ananda. The Nama Rupa is on top of the Satchitananda. So the Nama Rupa is the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada. All these are also Nama Rupa only. Yeah. So for Kamsa, as of now, that Avarana, probably, you know, it could also be the darshan of Mahashakti there, Mahamaya, right? With such a glorious darshan of Durga Devi there, um, must have made his mind to rest in source for some time, momentarily, like what Aarti said. And so, and again, all that comes up, the vasanas, everything again comes up after some time. So, you know, if truth is not in some person, then that's not truth, right? Sat, pure existence. Pure existence. If we say it is not in somebody, then it is not true. So,
Can you go up a little, Bala?
little more.
I want to see the waiting. Oh, he says everything, lots of things. He's saying a lot of things, yeah. Even further, when Yogamaya leaves.
She was holding a boat.
The
right?
child which is destined to kill you has already been born. Do not kill innocent people without cause for no reason. She vanished from the sky and the earth was left in darkness.
It had a strange effect on Kamsa.
Mm.
So these are the powers of Divya Darshan. If someone recognizes it at that time, then that's it. Problem is we don't recognize.
What Yogamaya said to him reminded him of the sins he had done. When a being performs these, it's not like they don't know, but they are so gripped in they are so much in the hold of that avarana that there becomes a strong justification for all the sins that they perform. A reminder makes him feel, and then he goes on. That is Vishnu Maya leaving is Maya leaving him for a moment. That Maya which was covering him, that moment it left and he could see the truth. Yeah, we'll go down.
They say, no, even when Duryodhana, when Krishna tried to give Upadesha to Duryodhana, it's not that Duryodhana did not know. Yes, I know all you're saying, Dharma, Dharma, but there is some Devata sitting inside me. It is not Devata. It is his Ahankara.
Ahankara, it's his avarana. It is avarana from, because of
Yeah,
ahankara.
because of
Only the
avidya.
I-ness brings that. That
Yeah.
wrong I thought brings that avarana. That avarana leads to vikshepa.
This is, I cannot do anything.
Even there, Lord Krishna shows him his death when he goes to the court, shows him what can happen in the Kurukshetra war. And he calls that Maya. He calls what Krishna showed as Maya and calls him a Mayavadi. He's not able to see that he is in the grip of Maya. So that is also a projection. So the Maya is so thick, the Avarana is so thick that nothing is piercing that. Krishna showing him at least that fear will make him back a little.
That's what the three examples in Bhagavad Gita, it comes, right? I don't remember the shloka. The three things. One is, it covers the truth like a smoke. The other is where it is like a layer covered on the mirror, which needs little bit of cleaning. Like smoke, it needs nothing. Just the flame of jnana will
Just blow it, it will go.
it will just go away. The more higher, with more powerful is the flame of jnana, then that goes away. But most of us are in that mirror stage. It needs cleaning, chitta shuddhi, do all the whatever, all this that is needed. Our spiritual life is all about cleaning that mirror, chitta shuddhi. And the other one is like the womb in the garbha. Nothing can be done. It has to go through that 9-month thing to come out. So similarly for Duryodhana, he had to go through that to come out. Nothing could even, move little. That Swabhava itself was made like that. No?
Yeah. And then also at the time of death also there was no repentance. There was no, even at that point it was the same thing
No
continued.
repentance, Allah, till
No
last.
repentance. He says, just like our clan has been destroyed, he tells Ashwatthama, make sure their whole clan is destroyed.
In spite of the fact that it seems Duryodhana, I heard someone telling one, like Kamsa is Kalanemi, and Duryodhana also some other.
Yeah, Kamsa is Kalanemi.
Yeah, the Duryodhana also
Karna is one Asura like that.
Who?
I don't know. Karna.
Karna also Asura. Oh.
There is a backstory to Karna.
Oh.
I'll get it out. I don't remember the name of the. I came across this, and he. Wait, I'll get that story. Hold on.
Yeah. So for Duryodhana, he's some Asura. So what he gets there is he will not get killed by anybody. That is why even in Mahabharata war, we see after, that Bhima's, he does all that, from the thighs, it is so, uh, and he is just left. He doesn't die with so much pain. And they say Duryodhana had to drive away the wolves and all those coming and come and eat the flesh that is bleeding. He had to drive away that there, and he was just left to die like that, in Kurukshetra. So, in spite of that last minute, if he had not repented, then that Swabhava itself is made like that. Nothing can be.
So, yeah, the story of Karna is that he was the king Dambodhava, who did he did deep penance to Surya Deva and obtained 1,000 impenetrable armors. So now once he got these armors, he started feeling he was, immortal. Nobody can do anything. So then
Narayana Rishida.
Then Narayana fought the Asura.
No.
And the way they fought was one sage fought while the other meditated and chanted a revival mantra, allowing them to destroy. So they kept fighting with him alternately, Nara and Narayana, Nara and Narayana. Then they destroyed 999 armors, and in this Janma, that one armor had to be destroyed, and it was the time for Nara. That is why it was done through Arjuna. Something like that. So I don't know about Duryodhana though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sahasra Kavacha. Yeah.
Sahasra Kavacha was Dambodhava, but after he got the Kavacha, he was called Sahasra Kavacha.
Damba Udbhava.
Yeah. So actually, in the Madhva philosophy, they will say somehow, some of these Asuric, the ones who have the Asuric qualities, they will continue to have Asuric qualities. Some of the ones with the sattva quality will continue to have sattva quality, because all these are part of nature. Like you will have the tigers, you will have the lions, you will have the vultures. They're all part of a food chain. Like that, even in the Sukshma Rupa, the Asuric quality people will be there. All of these are needed, because only if the Asuric quality is there, the Devi quality gets its predominance. And then it is about going beyond both of this. Ultimately, all of this are play of the mind only, qualities, all objects in the being. It's like a pendulum which runs this way has to go to the other. Now, positive, negative, it will all be there. At some level, if you see, they're all governed by him only. The being is there in everybody. Right? So these stories are not to judge Duryodhana or anybody, but what it does is, from a young age, the conditioning can change. There is a possibility for the conditioning to evolve. Like somebody like Duryodhana would have been conditioned from a very young age. His very conception was with the intention of getting the kingdom. The very conception was there, and then right from the beginning, there was Shakuni who was with him throughout, feeding him. That can have very strong impact through one's life. It becomes very strong avarana. And all that also happens because of his prarabdha. Don't think that is how it has to happen. That cleaning, probably he had to live it that way, like what Bala was telling. But in all of this, if he was, in spite of all of that, if he was in touch with his being, it would have been different. But he wasn't.
That's what Bhagavatam shows about Vritrasura, right?
Yeah.
All the outer activities, that was Asuric only. He was an Asura. The intention was to kill Indra. Okay, it was completely, but he transcended that. He did not identify with the Swabhava. So Bhagavatam says, Swabhava Kama Karma. It cannot be changed. No. Okay, surface level, small things. But as we, we will know, Swabhava doesn't change because it is seeded. Certain basic Swabhavas.
And Swabhava is part of Prakriti.
It is not the Purusha. There is absolute no connection between the being and, in fact, in Bhagavad Gita, whatever, it goes one step level to say they are Maya. Swabhava, Kama, Karma is the Shakti of the Lord. It does not have real existence. That is only medicine that can be taken to transcend it. No? So worship the Shakti. It is her prabhava, it is her power. We start looking everything that way. That is right, wrong, I think. No, everything gets transcended. That's what Bhagavatam is taking us. Ultimate thing is said that, nothing can be, the final thing is, Shukamuni did not stop Takshaka from coming. He made Parikshit transcend that. So that Parikshit finally says, I am not scared of this Takshak, the death, like, caused by Takshaka. So it's not just Takshaka. He says, everything else, I'm not scared of all that. You have given me Abhayam. So that is Jnana. That is the only way. But initially we do a lot of, all the things are necessary at all layers, and slowly. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had one question, Bala. Yeah, but when you go in the latter story, Janmejaya went on to, he took a vow that, since his father was killed by Takshak, he's going to destroy
Yeah.
the whole clan of this thing.
Yes.
Did he read Bhagavatam? That's
Krishna's Leela has to continue, no?
I know.
Otherwise, it is boring for him.
That was
I'm
also
sure-
instigated by Indra.
I'm sure, but he did not read Bhagavatam completely. Otherwise, he would never have done.
Yeah, maybe.
Or that
Later,
happened
that's why
again.
I think.
But it is in that Sarpa Yajna only that the Mahabharata was retold, and so many things happened in that time.
Came, and then Parashara, Vedavyasa tells Mahabharata to Janamejaya. That's how Mahabharata starts. No?
So he listens to the Mahabharata, not the Bhagavatam.
Not the Bhagavatam.
Hmm.
Parikshit is one, through Parikshit only we got Bhagavatam.
Yeah. And through Janmejaya, the Mahabharata was retold.
Acha.
Can even say through the Krodha and that of Janamejaya brought out Mahabharata narration.
So that Krodha that came out also, if you look at the story, it is like somewhere he didn't have it right at the beginning, but that Indra comes and somewhere instigates him.
Mm.
Okay, and then then that anger comes up. Oh, says what you are okay. A Sarpa came and did all this thing to your father.
Actually, it is going on in cycles, right? So,
Right.
like when Indraprastha was given to them, and they started building their whatever the
Yes.
mission over there, they had. I mean, Arjuna himself had to kill a lot of snakes.
Yeah. They hunted
And
so much.
at that time, Takshak was at that time very cross with Arjuna and Indira
Yes.
and all those things.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the story. There it goes.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So it's everything is action consequence. So that's why they say the action, the seed that we sow today can be
Yeah.
realized by our
Yeah.
descendants in our family.
Just imagine Arjuna's
So
own
what is the
grandson is
kind of
killed
seed we are
by
sowing?
Takshak.
Some action which was performed by Arjuna was then borne by Parikshit.
Correct. That's what his own grandson was killed by Takshak.
Yeah. See, that is why in the karmic law, Gahana Karmano Gati, he says Krishna, right? It is very difficult to understand, but nobody can escape.
Yeah.
No
Correct.
body can escape, but the being can transcend it. That is jnana.
Correct. That's all.
What karma? Nothing can be done. This birth, this body, any karma will happen. Yeah, something, but the being can transcend. So when the transcendence happens, no, that seed also doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why they say when there is a sannyasi in a family, 7 generations below and 7 generations above are released from Runa. What does it mean? The action is not binding for him. A true sannyasi, I mean, sannyasi means a realized being. I'm not talking about every, realized being like Ramana Bhagavan. So if the Runa is gone means whatever actions, it is, there is absolutely no, it is a pure
It
channel,
liberates
right?
the 7 down and 7 up.
Huh?
All actions are
Yeah.
dissolved.
Otherwise, for us with, we do not know, unknowingly we may be sowing so many seeds. Yeah, the only thing is jnana is the only rescue. So if we hold on to spirituality, that is also a seed which goes to the coming generation. Yeah, they will also hold on to it, and that will rescue them. So
If you'll even look at the other stories where Lord Rama says Ikshwaku, he says, "Oh, I am a descendant of the lineage of the Harishchandra, who always spoke the truth. So how can I?" So that is getting passed on like that. But ultimate liberation is that is, they say, in fact, that is what is told, right? If one person, when that Atma Sakshatkara happens, that is the highest. It is the best Loka Kalyana. Because there is, like, I was seeing some data the other day, how India is third these days in the number of billionaires we have. Like that, if we have a number of realized beings are higher, that automatically elevates the overall consciousness of all beings automatically. Just to one, like Ramana, just see how many beings he touched, how many souls he touched, just one, and like that, then when the number increases, the overall consciousness just goes up. So in all activity, whether it is a tamasic activity, it depends upon one's prakriti, which is made of guna, right? Triguna, sattva, rajas, tamas, whatever is the composition. According to all of this, the activity is done. Meditation is constantly being in touch, constantly being in touch with that being in the midst of activity and experiences. That is transcending the actions and the activities. Actions and activities are happening, but I'm constantly in touch with the being. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, Janaka Maharaja is the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being in the midst of being a king, he lived an ascetic life.
Yeah.
A very
Hmm.
interesting conversation comes with Janaka Maharaja and Ashtavakra, not Ashtavakra, some other sadhu maybe, because Ashtavakra was his guru, some other sadhu. So he comes and he asks Janaka Maharaja, after realizing also, how is it that you are, this is a very subtle thing, it is, how is it that you are able to continue with this kingdom, being a king? So Janaka Maharaj asks that sadhu, he's also a very realized being. So he says, after realization, how is it that you're continuing to be a sadhu? He says, what? I just have this bhiksha, I have to go, I have to take, and then, I do this. A very simple routine, he says. Janaka Maharaja says, that is so simple for you. This is very simple for you. See, at the Swabhava body level, Janaka Maharaja running the kingdom is easier for him than being a sadhu like that, because that is new. He has to adopt some things new there. So he says, this is simple. But the way he gets realization is lot of solitude. See, as a realized being, they, in many places in our Bhagavad Gita commentary, Swami has highlighted that, it is important to withdraw a little bit, how much ever possible. Not to evade, not like escaping from, but withdrawing is necessary if we are caught up too much. And Janaka Maharaja is in solitude in the garden. He never had, waged wars. His was not an aggressive kingdom. Yeah, more of dharmic. He used to have lot of satsangs with rishis, Yajnavalkya, a lot of people, and all this is what I have listened from Swami. So it seems one evening, that was his, Swami calls it that Satori, moment of Satori. He sees Gandharvas, all, a lot of celestial beings. So to even get that kind of a vision, the mind must be in a very placid state, right? Prasannata. So that is when he is in touch with that inner being. So somewhere, as it's walking on the razor's edge for us. Somewhere we should know where to let go, where to continue, and all the realized beings, they come back to the same, because prarabdha is still, even maybe it's not for them but for others, so they come back and they continue lot of work. But in the path, it is also essential to not hold on and somewhere, bring in that for a sadhak. Yeah, we have digressed a lot today.
So when the sky will continue,
Yeah.
champions.
Continue.
Okay. So when the sky is overcast with dense clouds, it is not possible for the sun to be seen. At times the clouds do part for a moment and there is a gleam of sunlight caught by the eye. But the clouds cover it again and darkness is there again, and the gleam of sunlight is just a memory which fades only too soon. It was even so with Kamsa. When he was in the presence of good people like Vasudeva and Devaki, who were so good that the Lord chose them to be his parents.
Arti, you're muted.
So, I've been reading.
When he was in the presence of good people, from there.
I didn't even touch it. The
Huh?
beginning and all you heard me.
Yeah. It was only from this sentence.
Okay. When he was in the presence of good people like Vasudeva and Devaki, who were so good that the Lord chose them to be his parents, the goodness was contagious, and Kamsa felt that he had understood the truth about one's life on earth, about the foolishness in thinking of oneself as living forever, about loving every living being, since we are all the reflections of the same light. Once he left their presence and went back to his natural company, the mind of Kamsa became clouded as before. The next day, he called his ministers and he told them about the strange happenings in the prison, about the words spoken by Vishnu Maya. His ministers, who were all haters of the Devas and who were all embodiments of ignorance and foolishness and pride, spoke with great passion and vehemence.
Just one second, Arti. Something coming up. See, now what happened to Kamsa was actually, he was in such a powerful presence, that Vishnu Maya, so that had that impact in him, and all those, whatever, right? So this is what, and then once he sees the ministers, all that, it is all gone. So this is what they, say, the potency, so it's a very beautiful word that Swami uses. We go to Satsanga, say, for example, we go for some pravachana, something, some Bhagavatam, something there. Everything is so good, we hear, we absorb, and then we come back home. We are back as the same person. Initially, yes, but then that's the power of this giving more and more time to all these satsangas. Otherwise, what happens? The potency does not increase. The jnana has to spill over to our regular. So here comes he is knowledgeable. He seems to know a lot of things, but he was not applying it. He had forgotten all his. But then, due to some powerful presence, all that went away. But he is unable to stay there. Right? So many times it happens to us also, maybe not as much as Kamsa, but we do see, things coming back. Once we are back, oh, okay, it is. So the put again and again and again, going back to the scriptures and reading or listening or whatever is our spiritual, whatever we have taken up, again and again, giving more time to it increases the potency. Then it starts working in our routine also. That is what is, spiritual living, right? Nothing else. So that came up here because sometimes, in fact, in a very funny way, once Swami was quoting, especially when you listen to Vedanta and all, and come back, someone will say, sitting there, they will talk. It is not possible for us. So Swami calls it a satsang virus. There will be such virus. You should be very careful. Immediately, this is not humility. Why are they saying with so much compassion? So that we follow, if Krishna listens to that kind of a statement, he will feel very, I don't know, what is this, my children? You and me are the same, is what he's telling. So, the potency has to be strengthened in us. The potency of jnana, atma jnana. So that comes and stands when there is a situation, we are able to, recollect that, and that comes and stands there in our mind. And that takes over. So somewhere in Gita, I think only he said, spiritual, it's all about increasing. When the vasana of self-inquiry becomes stronger than our earlier mental vasana, that is the effort that we need to put. Until the vasana of self-inquiry or vasana of surrender, whatever, if that gains strength, then, whatever situation, then this becomes truth for us. The other things do not impact. So, anything, Aarti?
Yeah, again, if we see Kamsa, so what happened was, when you are in Satsanga, the beautiful, like Vasudeva and Devaki, their nature was reflecting on him. The moment he came back, his true nature was reflecting. But in that true nature also, he was remembering Krishna. And that is what becomes his. See, again, Krishna only says one has to act according to one's own swadharma only. You cannot act out to somebody else's swadharma. But we should keep collecting points, I would say, as we are with satsanga, more and more with satsanga, more clarity. See, you don't, there was this phrase that I heard, which was, it is not, hold on. We awaken not by trying to fix ourselves, but by seeing clearly. So when I fix myself, I am focusing more on the Prakriti. When I am awakening, I am focusing more on the being, the Purusha. So the more our sadhana is with being, rather than trying to change the Prakriti. The more our sadhana is with the being, the Prakritis hold on us will keep getting looser and looser and looser. And there is that one diagram in which, it's like the subconscious has all the vasanas. You have to have a circle thing. Now the upper part, now break it into say 3/4 of it and 1/4. 1/4 of it is the conscious mind. 3/4 below is the subconscious mind. In the subconscious is all the lots of dots. All the vasanas are there. And the conscious mind, whenever something happens, it interacts with the subconscious mind and throws out actions. Now, into the subconscious, the more and more we engage in satsanga, what happens now? The subconscious, those vasanas, along with all the other vasanas that we have, devotional vasanas, knowledge vasanas, all of this are now becoming very strongly seeded into the subconscious. So when we act in the world, what happens is, even though the swabhava comes up, which is a part of Prakriti. There's nothing that can be done. Even though the Swabhava comes up, these vasanas also that are there, the spiritual vasanas that have been put into the subconscious, they help you deflect it. They will come up as wisdom, saying this is this, this is this. And so slowly, the Swabhava starts, Prakriti starts losing its hold. And the spiritual vasanas come into aid there. So, my sadhana is very strongly to this, along with satsanga and putting this very strongly as the subconscious. It's important to give time with, also have time apart from this satsanga and time to see the real nature and become aware, so that there has to be silence. When I'm saying silence, I'm saying where there is time not engaging in satsanga also. This is the practice. So I think we are going in opposite. You're getting two things completely differently, but it is okay. So you are in silence, you are ready, you are a witness to the Swabhava, and this comes up. And you see the change happening, giving that room for that Swabhava to manifest in the awareness. Allows it to thaw. Allows it to thaw.
Yes.
It is not to
Satsanga
judge
is
our
being with the
Swabhava.
being. That's all.
Being with the being.
That is satsanga.
Satsang is being with the
It is
being.
not, going from it's satsanga is not an outer activity. Sat sanga, anything that brings that association with sat. Yeah, that is sat sanga. That's all. So satsanga is being. And transcendent.
And again, satsanga is not listening or reading.
Yeah, it all
We
depends.
are listening or reading again to come back to the being. The purpose is coming back to the being. For that, sometimes I am able to come back to the being on my own. Sometimes I'm not able to come back to the being on my own. Then I will use these. I will take the help of a guru's talk, of a scripture, of some meditative technique or something that will bring me. But the only satsanga is the being. To aid to be with the being, we can sometimes take the help of an external factor.
Yes.
Okay. His ministers, who were all haters of the Devas and who were all embodiments of ignorance and foolishness and pride, spoke with great passion and vehemence. The suggestions offered by them were profuse. They said it is obvious that the child is kept somewhere secretly, most probably away from the city of Mathura, maybe another city, a village in the suburbs, perhaps where the cowherds live. The sensible way to tackle the problem is to destroy all children around us who are less than a year old, have not cut their milk teeth yet. Oh, for those who have not got their milk teeth, the Devas can do nothing to harm you. They have all been defeated by you so often in the wars that they are scared of you. Why? Even the mention of your name is enough to drive them away from any place. As for Narayana, your arch enemy, what can he do? He is always hiding somewhere, afraid to come out and face you in real life. real fight. Lord Mahadeva is but half a man, and the other half is his wife. What can he do? Brahma is far inferior to these two. Indra, as you know, is powerless against you and your prowess. Somebody, and there will be such, right? Putting down the
Flattery.
divinity in some way. What is coming to you, Bala?
Yeah, flattery. Just the ego is nicely puffed up.
Yeah.
That's enough for the egocentric vasana to come up.
And the world is constantly feeding this
Yes.
ego. It is only, the world will only feed this ego. Either it will pump it up or it will pump it down in some way. But the nature of the world is to feed this ego only. Pumping it up or pumping it down, both are part of the ego. Like
Eknath Maharaj,
vitamin
he
D
says
deficiency.
wonderfully, when someone is there who is constantly hitting your ego, be very thankful to them. It will help us to get out of it. We know that this is the problem creator. In bhakti, that is what it is. No, we don't want this ego. We know that all the problem is in ego, right? So, very nicely, it's a very nice thing. Then someone is unnecessary. You think, okay, he says, you know what? It is like music to his ears. It's like the Nada Brahman, they keep telling it, he sees, and it is one way of completely knowing that I am nobody. That way. Here they are puffing it up. So Kamsa.
Here they are. Yeah, he is the king, right? So obviously they'll pump it up nice. Even so, it is but right that we should take proper precautions. We should pull out roots of our enemies when they are tender. When a disease finds a home in the human body, we should find out what it is, where it is, and attend to it immediately. If we ignore it for a while, it will grow suddenly or gradually, and later it will be the death of the body, even indriyas. If they are not controlled and brought to bay at once, they will run away with the wisdom of man, like horses drag a chariot when the reins are not held properly. Very nice examples, but used in the outer world. Very outward looking rather than this is the prayers share, right? Whether it is taking you more closer. The only denotion of an advice is whether it is taking you more towards the divinity or away from the divinity. Is it taking you more closer to the being or taking you away from the being? That's all. That is the only measure for us. Anything that is engaging with our senses, we just have to be aware whether it is taking me away from the divinity or taking me towards the divinity.
And the moment the thoughts go in the direction of taking control over the situation, I should know that ego is in play. It is taking the upper hand. We are moving away from divine.
Yep.
I want, who can control the body? What is this? What kind of, body is in Prakriti. It's the power of nature and it does something. Who knows? All these things, suddenly, gradually, nothing. All these things and all, If we are established, then all these things wouldn't appeal. Right? We know I have. But here, the moment I want to take control, the eye is up. That's all. Then actions, decisions, all these things come. very nicely many years ago. I remember it was such a beautiful. Raghuramji, he said that when he was talking about samatvam. Well, you don't have to do anything for samatvam. The more we do, the balance will go. It's not about doing, thinking, changing. Get out of this doing business. That is samatvam. Yoga uchyate. So, things are happening. We think we are the ones who are doing things. That is the doership, ignorance.
So to be contented, we think we have to get all these things, then I'll be contented. It doesn't. Contentment is our real nature. Only all that is telling me that I am not contented because I don't have these things that I have to remove. Then I will be contented. Whether it is love, whether it is contentment, whether it is happiness, joy, whatever it is, that is our real nature. Everything that is hiding it is what we have to remove. By getting something or doing something, happiness is not going to come. By vairagya, by letting go of that which is veiling it, is what we can actually realize that truth. So it is simple. What is triggering me? Typical reflections we can say is, as soon as something triggers us, we feel like we have to do something. What should I do? This is there. When it triggers us, the thoughts are more on what should I do, then this should become all right to make this all right. That is the thought. So then we know I don't have to do anything. It is just, I may do, or I'm not even saying I don't have to do. I'm just saying the doing or not doing is not going to change anything. I can do or I cannot do. That is different. But the trigger is not going to change with that. The trigger is within me. I just have to drop that trigger. That's all. Whether you do or not do, the trigger within if it has to go, you have to unveil. That's all. The several forms of Anything else, Bala, you want, or should we continue?
Yeah, we'll continue.
The several forms of Narayana are reputed
Narayana is the refuge of. We finished.
Oh, there. Narayana is the refuge. You read, Bala.
Narayana is the refuge of the Devas. We didn't finish this, no? Did we?
Yeah, horses drag a chariot when the reins are not held properly.
We are done.
No, we have to read this.
Narayana is the refuge of the Devas. He is the very root of the tree called Swarga. It has been said that he is found wherever Sanatana Dharma is practiced. Oh, these people are talking. There is no connection between them and Narayana. And the very foundation, the keystone of this Dharma is the chanting of Vedas, cows, Brahmanas, who are forever performing yagas, yajnas, tapas. The best way, my lord, to destroy this Narayana is to kill all these Brahmins who study and propagate the Vedas. Kill the rishis who perform tapas. Kill the cows in the ashramas since they give butter and ghee to feed the fires in the ashrama, the sacrificial fires. So these are the three things, the Brahmana and cows. We see in few states in our country.
Yes.
I can't. My vasana is so strong. So.
No, it came up even. See, then all these things came up right now. Recently, he talks about Sanatan Mahitata, Dharma, Udayanidhi, Stalin, the TVK. I'm openly going to say this, okay? These guys say, for a moment, it does come up, right? We have to do something. it was more like, we can't do anything against them, but at least this wrong idea of Sanatana Dharma should be removed. It is not all about caste that they are making out to be. It is the real meaning. It talks about Adveshta, it talks about equanimity, so much more it talks. You will take one shloka from that, and then you will conflate it as the whole religion. Mind is working, swabhava, nothing, but it all this came up, okay. And also the mind says that okay, you have to, what you can, you do, but you're doing, we also know nothing will happen to Sanatana Dharma, because at the back, it cannot. One is, it is eternal because it is like physics or chemistry. Can you destroy physics or chemistry? It is a life science of human beings. Can you destroy that? No way can you destroy this. So this is one thing is going to last, and there are so many rishis and gods themselves who descend on this land to walk, and who have walked this land. They are there in Sukshma Rupa and so many forms preserving this. So one thing, it is definitely not going. You are aware of that. And yet, if there are some young children who are young youth who is listening to all this, and there are some questions, putting it out, some people are doing that, and that is also part of his play only. Right? Somebody is asking these questions, somebody is answering these questions, everything is coming from him, so that consciousness can be elevated. So doing or not doing doesn't matter, but I am doing, that is a problem. I don't have to do, that is also a problem. I should do is also a problem. Anything, doing or not doing doesn't matter, but knowing that everything that is happening through his permission only. Whether this or that, it is a time, I personally, I believe this has been happening for a very, very long time. Now it has come forward or known to everybody because of social media. This has been happening probably for more than 60 years or so in Tamil Nadu. I feel somewhere, now it is a time for this to end. It is in its final stages, this hate for Sanatana Dharma.
Yeah. The several forms of Narayana are reputed to be the Brahmins, cows, and Vedas, and abstract qualities like tapas, truth speaking, self-control, subduing the indriyas, concentration in one's meditation, compassion, patience, and yagas. They are called abstract because we cannot define them actually. It is, when divine is there, it is there. The moment ego comes, it is not there. It not there means it takes some other form, and we call that the tapas.
I just want to add a little. The best way, my lord, to destroy this Nara is to kill all the Brahmins who study and propagate, kill the rishis who perform tapas, kill the cows in the ashramas, since they give butter and ghee. This is at the Stula doing all of this. But when you look at any yajna, I wanted to bring out this beauty of yajna. Yajna, what we see as yajna is constantly, it is like, you offer certain things into fire, right? Well, like that, the yajna, it is not only by the people who are doing this physical yajna of offering, making offering. It is yajna is a spirit. Varahavatara signifies that yajna spirit, in fact, which we saw right at the beginning of Bhagavatam, where, let's look at the churning of the ocean. Like the churning happens and the butter comes out. And then when the churning, the milk is churned and the butter comes out, and that butter is offered to fire. ghee comes out of it. It transforms into ghee, and once that ghee comes out of it, it can never go back to the state of butter. It has become clarified completely, right? That butter has become. So initial process of the churning is the chitta shuddhi, and then that offering of the I into the fire, the offering of the I, the ahankara, to the fire transforms and brings out the butter, which is the transformation, which is the inner final transformation. And that is also a yajna. It is done within. It is not only the outer yajnas and all that. So all those who are working, there are two kinds of people. Some people are coming to spirituality seeking happiness. Some come into spirituality wanting to know the nature of reality. These are two types of people. So when one wants to know the nature of reality, that becomes a yajna. That I am not this I and I am. That is offered into the fire. Then the transformation that comes in, that is a yajna too.
That's what in Bhagavad Gita he calls it as Jnana Yajna.
Mm.
In the fire of Jnana, knowing this ego does not exist. That is Jnana Yajna. Know clearly. It is a conviction. Every moment now this talking is happening, this breathing is happening, thinking is happening. Like Kenopanishad asks, which is the Deva present within, because of which the thinking happens? The question itself is the answer actually. But that's how the question, so even to ask such a question, that student must have been, a great tapasvi. So for that, the Guru says, it is not what you see, by what you see, that know as truth. It is not what you hear, by what you hear, know that as truth. So dynamically as we live, moment by moment by moment, knowing that it is the Ishvara which does everything, is Jnana Yajna. Know, and that is what is, they say, Naham, Naham, Tvam, Tvam. It is Ishvara and Ishvara alone. Ego is non-existent. Prakriti's power, all the Shakti, something is happening. She's showing a nice whatever. Yeah, worship her, then she will take her to the truth. Take us. Yeah. So this ego is non-existent. So knowing that and living by that moment to moment is Jnana Yajna. And one more thing is this Yajna, because it's a very beautiful, I don't know, only in our, this such a, somewhere I read in some group it came, nothing can happen to Sanatana Dharma which sees divine in a leaf. A dharma that sees divine in, the anoraniyana, we say, right?
Anoraniyana, Mahato Mahiyana.
Mahimana. Right? Every anu, then the entire thing is him. The Vishwarupa Darshana is showing that anu is him. Moment by moment. So, what is a question of who is destroying what? So, this, even in creation, when they say, right, Brahma, something comes in third chapter. I don't remember. So, along with Yajna. So, as long as Yajna is there, creation sustains. That is why we see, except human beings, everything in nature is in Yajna spirit only. It's because of this intellect, The ego, they don't have ego. Very beautifully, Swami says two egos. One is the Prakrita ego. For the functioning of that, there is no doership there, no enjoyership there. Yeah, something arises for this body to be maintained. Yeah, the eyes, they see, and if the knowledge that it should not get into the fire, as simple as that. So that is Prakriti ego. That is there in every living being. It is the nature's manifestation for its own protection. That's all, nothing more. That's all. Yeah, for this. But the ahankara, this ego, this self-inquiry, all this is for this assumed ego, which is non-existence. It is just an assumption because of avidya. So avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, says Patanjali, right? So avidya is the root. So this assumed ego is only the human being because of the intellect, because I am thinking that this body is me, limiting myself to this body, and everything else is related to that. So that is so yajna, what it does is idam na mama is also a very thing that we keep telling, right? Whenever things are offered in the fire, even in a small homam that we do at home. So idam na mama, this is not mine. This is not mine. And sarvam Krishna arpanamastu. Verbally start telling, it is absorbed in the system. It does get absorbed in the system. So yajna is all about dissolving this mamakara, ahankara in the flame of jnana, that I don't exist.
That I is a thought in the mind. Any thought in the mind is only an illusion. So I, or that of that ego, is an illusion.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, 32.
We'll close.
Yeah, we close.
Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Hari Om, thank you.